Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 25th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Merry Christmas. Happy Thursday. Yeah, it's still Thursday. We can still count that as a special day. I mean, things feel very Thursday for me. And y'all know that's my favorite day of the week, so I'm happy to celebrate. But no, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. I don't know how many other ways to say Merry Christmas, but hopefully you're having a good, magical, special day, whether, you're with your family, your friends, whoever, whether you're by yourself, what have you. As for me, my day has gone pretty well. There'll be a pretty quick run through. I got up. We, hung out for a little bit, kind of played some card games online, just my usual hangout vibe. Then, I did, my older classic, calisthenics routine at home, which I haven't done in, I think, about a year. So it was kind of nice to do that. The old sit up, the old push up, some squats, so it was nice. Felt almost nostalgic to do since my gym is closed, had to do something. Then I did some stretches, and I have this barbell that I got for free from one of my coworkers. And I was like, well, might as well use that, at least it's 45 pounds to work with. So I did some movements with that, did some little complex movements, the old squats, did deadlift without any weight, but still it counts. It feels like something, right? That was nice. So, I think the most interesting movement I tried to do was, a laying down flat bench press, so just without the bench. And I would definitely say on wide grip, I felt very silly doing it. I couldn't even get all the way down. But I noticed that if I did really close grip, I was like, okay, this is doing a little something. This is of worth. It's of merit. So, that was kind of neat to learn that. But overall, hey, for a home workout comparative to last year, I was like, yeah, we'll take it. Nice. Hell yeah. And then I decided, since the weather wasn't too bad, I was like, let's just go ahead and go for a walk. So I went ahead, did that, walked up and down the street. So that was nice. And then I got home, and unfortunately I got some bad news. Normally where I like to go for Christmas to celebrate, with my family friends, the matron of the house, got COVID. So that was a bummer. That was definitely, sad to hear, just cause that jams up their day, their festivities. And, I was like, okay, well, for me, let me just go ahead and say, hey, we'll reschedule, we'll rain check it, we'll do a whole Christmas exchange dinner thing another time. It'll be okay. So, that left me without any plans. I'm a bit of a Christmas castaway for the day, but that's all right. It has overall been a good day, been a solid day. Nice to just chill and relax. Plus, I know I have work tomorrow, so, it's been nice just to have yesterday off, today off, just to kind of recharge, relax. So yeah, hopefully, you're out there enjoying your day, enjoying your time, and, hopefully this cascades into a nice holiday weekend, if you will. But yeah, that's pretty much all my personal news. Nothing else to really report in about, on my end. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. Oh yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Our first story comes from ABC News. A rescue mission helicopter crashes on Mount Kilimanjaro, killing all 5 on board. 5 people have died after a helicopter crashed on Africa's highest mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. The accident Wednesday happened on one of the most popular tourist climbing routes, and what police said was a rescue mission to pick up patients on the mountain. 2 foreigners who police said had picked up in a medical evacuation, or who had been picked up in a medical evacuation, were among those killed. A local doctor, a tour guide, and a pilot were also killed in the crash. The accident happened between the mountains Barafu Camp and Kibu Summit at an altitude of more than 4,000 meters, or 13,100 feet. Kilimanjaro Regional Police Commander Simon Maigwa told journalists the aircraft belonged to the Kilimanjaro Aviation Company, which conducts medical evacuation services, among others. The company is yet to comment on the accident. Police said more information would be provided later. The Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority on Thursday said investigations had started in line with the international safety regulations to determine the circumstances and probable cause of the accident. Aircraft accidents on Mount Kilimanjaro are rare, with the last recorded incident being in November of 2008 when 4 people died. So no, like cause or anything like that as of yet on, what potentially, caused the crash, anything like that. But obviously if I get any updates, we will circle back to this story. But let's move on to Russia from the BBC. 2 police officers killed in explosion in Moscow. 3 people, including 2 police officers, have been killed in an explosion in Moscow, Russian authorities have said. 2 traffic police officers saw Two traffic police officers saw a suspicious individual near a police car on the city's Yeltskaya Street. I'm sure I'm fucking that up. But Yeltskaya Street, and when they approached the suspect to detain him, an explosive device was detonated, Russia's investigative committee has said. Reports in Russia say the 3rd person killed was the suspect, but this has not been officially confirmed. The blast took place close to the location where a senior Russian general was killed in a car bombing in the capital on Monday. Lieutenant General Fanil Serov died in after an explosive device, which was planted under a car, was detonated. Investigative committee spokesperson Svetlana Petrenko said in a statement on Telegram that a criminal case was being investigated in Moscow regarding an attempt on the lives of traffic police officers. The officers have been named by Russian media as Ilya Kamenov, 24, and Maxim Gorbunov, 25. Sources in Ukraine's military intelligence agency, HUR, told the BBC that a local resident eliminated 2 representatives of the Russian law enforcement agency as a sign of disagreement with the Kremlin's aggressive policy, and said that a man threw an explosive package through the car window, causing an explosion. According to HUR sources, the 2 other people were taken to a hospital with serious injuries. Ukrainian military sources also told the BBC on Wednesday that the 2 officers killed had participated in hostilities against Ukraine, and added there was evidence of their involvement in the torture of Ukrainian prisoners of war. There are no details, and Moscow has not commented. Speaking to the Reuters news agency, Alexander, a resident who lives close by, said there was an explosion. It was a loud bang, like with a car a few days ago. Russia said it suspected Ukraine was behind Monday's explosion without providing any evidence. So there's a little bit of a recap there from what we've already covered. But yeah, this followed up closely after the bombing of that general. So I was like, okay, that was definitely a surprising cadence. According to Ukraine, there's a bit of some link as to why, some motive as to why this happened. But granted, they're not saying, hey, we're not saying we're responsible or we helped or any kind of facilitation. But, we're saying, hey, we just noted that, or we see that happening. We witnessed it. It's like, oh, okay, all right. So I guess the plot thickens there in that regard. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. We actually have an update out of Honduras coming from NPR News. Trump-backed candidate Nasri Asfura declared winner of Honduras's presidential vote. Trump-backed candidate Nasri Asfura won Honduras's presidential election. Electoral authorities said Wednesday afternoon, ending a weeks-long count that had whittled away at the credibility of the Central American nation's fragile electoral system. The election is continuing Latin America's swing to the right, coming just a week after Chile chose the far-right politician Jose Antonio Cast as its next president. Asfura of the Conservative National Party received 40.20% of the vote in the November 30th, edging out four-time candidate Salvador Nasrallah of the Conservative Liberal Party. I hate when they say that because it's like, what the fuck is this mouthful bullshit? Conservative liberal? Okay, cool. Who finished with 39.53% of the vote. So yeah, I mean, he was the guy, I guess, was the lesser of two evils that we were quote unquote rooting for here, but he did not win when everything was said and done. I mean, there's more details here, but more or less just noting that Asfura won. That was the guy that Trump wanted, that he was like, hey, if you guys don't pick them, there's going to be problems. How can I really work with y'all? How can I fuck with y'all if y'all don't pick my guy, Asfura? So, I mean, just kind of going to say, hey, that strategy is continuing to work. It was a very close election. I think that it's without a doubt that did tip things in Asfura's favor. But I mean, I guess, one person's political interference is another just, hey, that's just a Trump bump, baby. That's just the way it works. That's cool. That's all good. But if he had lost, guaranteed, there would have been a lot of talk of, interference, corruption, it's all rigged, blah, blah, blah. They were already queuing that shit up regardless. I mean, you could say both sides already were in one way or shape or another. But I would say, though, from the left end of it, you can definitely say, hey, you literally have Trump from across the way saying, hey, if you don't pick this guy, I will make things difficult for you. Things are only going to get worse if you don't pick him. Like, I don't see how that's not tipping the scale. But hey, that's politics as usual. That's democracy, baby. What can you say? But let's go ahead and move on to our last story for today. We are going to the BBC to talk about Russell Brand. I feel like we haven't talked about him in a while, but there's a bit of an update. More trials, more charges coming down the pipe that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we will close it out. Yeah. Sadly, no, I have no cool Christmas miracle to bring. No, it's a bit of a somber, solemn Christmas this year in 2025. Which, I'm okay with, Sometimes it happens. It's okay, You just gotta have a chill, cozy Christmas by your lonely. No bah humbug, though. Anyway. I will say, it was nice just being able to take a walk. Ooh. Because if it was like 40 degrees, I would have been inside all day. All right. Russell Brand charged with new offenses of rape and sexual assault. Russell Brand has been charged with 2 further offenses, including 1 count of rape, the Metropolitan Police has said. In a new statement, the police force said the Crown Prosecution Service, or CPS, has authorized an additional charge of rape and a charge of sexual assault relating to 2 further women. The broadcaster, comedian, and actor previously pleaded not guilty to 5 charges, including 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of sexual assault, and 1 count of indecent assault in relation to 4 women. Mr. Brand, 50, is due to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on January 20th of 2026 in relation to the 2 new charges. Detectives began investigating allegations into Mr. Brand, which came to light following reporting from the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4's dispatches in September of 2023. The two new charges allegedly took place in 2009 and relate to separate women, the CPS said. A trial is set to start at Southwark Crown Court on June 16th of 2026 for the 5 original charges, which allegedly took place on dates spanning between 1999 and 2005 in central London and Bournemouth. Now, there's some more sort of details, I feel like some of which we've covered along the way in our coverage of Russell Brand. I really don't want to run them back. Obviously, if you are very interested in the recap, you can get back to the BBC and read them. But yeah, I did just want to mention those dates. I imagine when they come up, we will come back with coverage unless more, charges or, updates happen in, the Russell Brand saga. Obviously, it's once again, something very unfortunate. Just to, I guess, make an aside, a pit stop here. I do remember, being younger, watching Get Him to the Greek and watching like Russell Brand stand up and thinking this guy's really funny. Like, oh, he's so edgy, he's so crazy. But like, behind the scenes, he's doing this kind of fucking shit and, just pretty repentant about it. And then, he puts himself in, I guess, a weird sort of exile, more or less, and then is like grifting, Wi-Fi blocking Christian, tomes or some shit. Like, so, to all the tomatoes for this guy, obviously boo. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the saga continues. So, we got to do more coverage on this fucking guy, this fucking freak. Anyway, that is all I have for today. That is where we are closing it out on Christmas. I know it is not holly, it is not jolly, but so it goes. But if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify. Wherever you like to listen, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, always appreciated. But if you don't do any of that, that's all good. It's cool. You truly are giving me a gift by just hanging out and, letting me yap to you about my day, about the news, all that shit. That's really cool. So thank you so much. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.